Hello, this is Deb Joyce Meek from Delight of My Art. Welcome to day number 4 of our October Christmas Craft Along. I'm so glad that you're here. We are pre-recording this one because I'm out of town today, but I will be back tomorrow. So we're in the middle of our free shipping event too with Stampin' Up. So if you qualify for free shipping, you also get to get this free tutorial sent to you. This is $35 if you'd like to purchase it, and all of that information is in the description here. And if you join my team, you get it for free as well. So let's go ahead and jump down here. This is a 38-page tutorial, so I'm going to be following along on this one throughout the video here because I can't memorize all of these dimensions. And I have pre-cut some of the pieces according to the directions here. This is why we call this one a craft along, because you can order the package ahead of time and then craft along with me and my two friends that helped design all of the projects here, Beth Maxwell and Sherry Oseki. We did all of the designing for this one. So you can still get that full package sent to you. I'll do a second shipping of that through the first week of November. I'll be shipping it the first week of November. You can order it up to Saturday during the craft along here. So we have the full package, but you can also get the tutorials. And we have another craft along coming up in November, and that one is available to get the whole purchase, the whole package. There's gifts involved. So again, that is in the comments here. Let me go ahead and put my face away. We'll just focus on the desktop here, and I will get look, we're about halfway done. We've got 6 projects already done, and we have a few more to get through. It's at least 6. We have a bonus one actually at the end here. So let's go ahead. Here is our seventh project. This one is designed by Beth. She did both of the projects today. So this is another fun stand-up card. And we've got a bubble shaker on this one. Super fun. And Julie will laugh at me, but I think this one looks like a cookie cutter. And this was a different way to do the shakers than I had previously done. So I just thought this was super fun. I love shaker cards, and our cool domes just make it so easy. So let me go ahead and show you how to put this card together. And it is a faux step card, but super, super cool. All right, so I'll put this off to the side so we can see that one. And again, I have different colors for you, slightly different. It's still going to be green, and we have some pieces that are a little bit different from that paper pack. This bundle that we're using is called Pine Tree Trimmings bundle. And so you can get that in my online store at orderwithdeb.com if you'd like to get that. It has all of these stamps plus these dies. So it's one of the simpler bundles that you can get. And we're going to be using the Christmas tags and more mix and match specialty designer series paper for the little pop-out pieces. And then we also have the Elegant Pine Snowflakes designer series paper to kind of play around with both of those. Okay, so I have all my pieces here from the PDF. When you order the craft along, you get 24 sheets of full cardstock, and you cut it according to the tutorial here. And all of the dimensions are listed for you, but I will go ahead and tell you over the video as well. So let's get to that right page here. We have 5.5 by 8, not 8.5. So it's a little bit shorter than your normal card base. So that is going to be for the card base. We have a 6 by 3 in the same color, 6 by 3, and we have a 3 by 4. This is for doing the die cutting for the tree. So this one's just a scrap, but we have a 6 by 3 and 5.5 by 8, not 8.5. Okay, and then we're gonna have a piece. We're gonna have our little tree, and we have 2 pieces of designer series paper. Now this one, she did the largest snowflake one for both of those, so both of those are the same size. This is 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. So this is the pattern that I'm going to use for this time with the pine cones. I thought that would be fun. And then there's one more for the back of the front. I'm using the same piece because I thought it was really nice. Actually, do I want to use this side? Probably not. I think I'll use the same side. This one's going to be Oh, and we also need a little piece here. Sorry, this is the same piece here. 5 1/4 by 3/4. So that's going to be that little tiny strip on that front little section right there. And then we also need this piece, 2 3/4 by 4. Okay, so that's going to go on that piece. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. We'll stick all of these pieces off to the side so we can get going. I'll get my trimmer out and we are going to score this one. So we're going to score on the long side at 1, 2, and 5. I'm going to flip it at 2. So we're going to do 1 and 5 and then flip it. So 1, not the dark one. Park the dark at the top. So we got 1 and 5. I'm going to flip it top to bottom like this. And then we're going to put it back in at 2 so that those score lines are just perfect. So that one we just did is going to be a mountain, and all of the other ones are going to go the opposite way. So that when we get it put together, it's looking like this. I kind of want to make sure that these two pieces are lining up too, though. So let me just kind of push this back a little bit. So that these pieces line up as well. And then we'll just burnish all of those folds singly. I'm going to place them all flat so that I'm not over creasing something into itself so that we have a dent anywhere. All right, so this is what the base is going to look like. So we have, that was that 1 and 5. And then we flipped it over and did it at the, there it is, the 2 right here. Okay, so there's our card base. These 2 pieces of designer series paper should fit perfectly on there, but I don't want you to put both of them on at once. We're gonna have to fold this whole panel over and you're gonna tuck the little end. It's just gonna be a short little end. We're gonna cover that up with this paper, so don't stick the back on yet. We'll do that together. So I think I want to have some of these pine cones kind of floating around in the background here. So I'm gonna choose this piece for the front. We'll put this one off to the side for the back. And then we also have that longer piece for the front here. And I want those pine cones kind of sticking off the bottom so you can see them a little bit better. So I'll glue those pieces on. I hope everybody's having another good day today. I'm hoping that the stink bug invasion will end soon. Who knows? If it's getting chillier, are they just hiding in my house somewhere, or are they dying in the cold? Hopefully they're just dying. Is anybody else having stink bug problems? I hate stink bugs so bad. So here is our front panel. And I'll get out my cute little die cut. Now I realized after I sent out the packages and did all the die cutting for myself that she actually did use the smaller oval, and there is a smaller oval. I didn't even know. So, but I think that this one works just as well. So we're just gonna go with it. But in that traditional labels bundle, there's an even smaller oval in here. Look at this hiding in here. So this one will fit that one as well, but I used the one that's slightly larger. No big deal. Oops. So it'd probably be a little less, but we have a little bit more room for our embellishments on this bigger one, so no big deal. All right, so let's go ahead and do some of this stamping then right away. Sending Christmas wishes on this one. We used this one yesterday twice in the red, so you didn't even have to clean this one. I think that's all we need for that one. In fact, I think that's all the stamping on this entire card, which is nice. Oh, let's put this off to the side. We got to bring the trimmer back in one more time just to score our 3x6 piece. This one's going to be scored at 4 1/4 because this is going to be 4 1/4 tall by 5.5 once it's all flat. See? So technically it could fit inside of an envelope. However, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but I think you could still, it's a little bubbly, but I think you could still shove it in there. All right, so here is our little fold over piece. See, there's no need to make that the full length. She's pretty clever to just have that stop there and then cover it up with the designer series paper here. No need to waste paper. I do love that. All right, so let's go ahead and burnish that. And then that's gonna go onto the front somewhere. And since my label is bigger than I thought it was going to be, I'm going to move my panel over to the left just a little bit more than I did on the first one, just to give myself a little bit more wiggle room on placing this little label here. So let's go ahead and add some liquid glue here. I'm just going to do kind of a little squiggle. It's a little heavy on the end there, so I'm just going to kind of spread it out a little bit. And I can just place that up against the bottom here, up against the bottom on this front panel. You can see it's this way. I just turned it sideways because I'm right-handed here. I'll just put that right there. And as that slides around and sticks, we're just going to wait 10 seconds for that to really grab hold. I love this green glue because it has that wiggle room time. Tell me, are you a liquid glue person or do you like your tape runner? Ours is called Stampin' Seal. I do love our Stampin' Seal, but I feel like it has a little bit of a learning curve on how it comes out. But once you get a hang of it, then it's really great. All right, so this one will overhang just about 1/2 inch. So we're just going to add a little tiny sliver on this one, less than on the front. And then stick that down. We're going to cover that little edge up with our designer series paper here. So you can see I gooped out a little bit, but no harm done. We're covering it up anyway. Plus our glue dries clear. I keep looking for comments, but I keep forgetting that I'm pre-recording. So I hope that you guys are making comments and saying hello and talking up a storm. And I'm going to pretend like I can hear you. Oh, that's really interesting. Thank you for sharing that tidbit. And tell us some more. Don't mind me, I'm only a little bit crazy. Okay. So let's go ahead and actually, okay, so here's how she did this. We're going to put this, in fact, I think I did this whole bit before I glued this whole thing on there, but I think it'll still work. All right, so I'm going to put this piece on. You think you would do some die cutting on this, but it's all sticking out the front. Very interesting. So we're going to do it a different way when we get to a different day. So you'll know how to do the shaker pieces the way that Stampin' Up! Probably thought we were going to do them. But this was, I mean, look at it. It looks like a little cookie cutter. Like one of those big plastic shape ones where you're just like, everything's a cookie to me. So, all right. So here we're going to take this piece and we're just going to get our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we're going to get that little tree out. So here's my bundle. I just grabbed a piece of adhesive magnet sheet and I stick it in the inside of my cases. Our cases are going to be changing and I still have magnet sheets in there. So someday I'll have to show you guys what I do with those new ones too. All right, so I'm just going to put this tree. It doesn't really matter where you put it. And if you wanted to use the offcut, actually, we're using the offcut. Never mind. So it doesn't really matter where you put it. It just has to be on there with enough of a border. So I'm going to take this through. We're going to use both pieces, the shape that we just cut and the outline. Okay, so this piece is going to go on the back here. And we're gonna get out our little, I think this is gonna be a to and from banner. But she didn't do any stamping on this. Beth designed this, so I think that would be perfect for a to and a from on the back. So that's what those pieces are gonna be for, onto the back. And now we're gonna play with this piece. Now, if you have an older pair of paper snips, I would use those. I'm gonna get out my other pair here. Or if you have a sticky pair or something, we're gonna take our little tree, and it has an adhesive strip on the front and an adhesive strip on the back. We're also going to get out our little shaker stars so they're handy. And we're going to take off just the top side of the shaker, like so. All right, I'm going to put, so there's a front and a back on here. So since I've been using my plates so much, the back side gets a little bit more chewed up, I guess you'd say. So I'm going to put this so where the front is on the front, and we're just going to slowly layer that onto this piece so that we can see that this is popping through. We don't want to take the backing off of the back side yet, so try to keep that on. If it comes off, just try to stick it back on there. So this is what it's looking like so far. So that bubble is off of the front here. And now we're just going to trim around the edge here. I did trim just a smidge smaller than the edge because it's just a thin piece of plastic. That's why I said use your bed scissors. You can just cut up against this. It's a little bit tricky, and but I think it, I mean, it looks so much fun, like a little cookie cutter. So let's go ahead and do this. All right, we're gonna make a little bit of room here. So here's my trick. Is this kind of like fussy cutting, only have a real clear guide here. So I'm going to go up to the corners here, and while you get close to those corners, you can't just kind of cut into it like you normally could, because there's this big bubble on the back. So you're gonna have to get your point of your scissors into those little corner pieces. And when you have a piece here, you can't come in and get it from the inside. You're gonna have to come in from the opposite way. So we're just going to kind of come around here, and again with my little my point there, until we can come around here. So it's just going to take a little bit of maneuvering. You get to a point where you're like, I can't cut anymore because you're on the bubble back here. So then you just move back to your point, and then you can come in from the opposite way. So we're just going to take some time and trim this out. This is probably going to be the most time-consuming part. Maybe I should have done this off camera, but I didn't, so that's okay. Now you can kind of see how to do it though. It's going to be a little bit tricky to get here, so I'm going to come in again from this side and kind of get that little curve. If you ever have a little stuck point, then just come in from the opposite way. I'm going to be having a lot of little pieces that snip off. And you can check your progress too. Try not to move your backing piece. If you grip this too hard or kind of move it, then your backing is going to come off. So here's how it's looking so far. Little cookie cutter. So here, coming around, I'm stuck, so I got to use my tip and come around up this edge. Again from this way. It's just a matter of going from lots of different angles. So here is what it looks like if you just follow the sticky side from the opposite side. It's a little bit of a fatter tree. And on this one, I trimmed it just a smidge shorter. So you could do either one. We'll do this just according to the sticky side on the other side. So this way, this is why I probably shouldn't have glued these two pieces on here yet, because if this were flat on the table, then our shaker stars wouldn't go shoving this way. So we're just gonna kind of hold this flat now. And I'm just gonna make a pile of stars on the front here. So now I'm going to kind of shape them into a tree shape. I want it to be skinnier at the top and kind of fatter at the bottom. And we can test, see, my backing's not off yet, so I can test if that's going to cover everything that I stuck there. Maybe I can add a little bit more. There's so many shakers in this container. I can make quite a number of shaker cards. Okay, so I think that looks good. So but without me taking my finger off of here, if I were smarter, I would have done this earlier, but I'm gonna leave my hand here so this stays flat, because if I lift up my hand, all of these are gonna go flying that way. So I'm gonna keep my fingers here as I take the backing off, and it's in one piece, so it should be pretty easy to kind of grab it and go. There we go. So now it's sticky on the back side here, and I'm going to take it and just cover all of these and do my best to center that onto this little panel here, and then give it a good press around the edges. There is our cute little cookie cutter faux step card. Oh, it's cute. And then we can put our little label on the front here. Did I put that on dimensionals? I think I did. So I'm going to add dimensionals to the bottom edge of this label and on the very left hand side, because it can kind of go up the edge here, and that will stick there. And then we can decorate that with one of these guys. I think this one looks good. So that's from that paper pack that has all of the little cutouts. Did you guys get anything for free shipping day? I got free shipping through Friday. I think I'm going to try to get a few things for upcoming events. And I'm going to add this with dimensionals too. Oops. That's good. All right, so we'll just add that there. This can go on the envelope or something. I'll just tuck that over there for later. And then we can do the back side and then add a bow. We've got one more project today too. Right? I'm on project number 1. Yes. You'll remember I'm doing these yesterday, right after my other video. So it feels like I'm done, but I'm not done yet. All right, we're gonna add a tree to the back side. And you could stamp on this first if you wanted to. Just add that right there. And then here's our little to from panel. I'm gonna definitely add glue to the little ends here, otherwise they stick up. Look how they're only attached by the tiniest little spots here and here. So you do want to add some glue, boop, to those little ends too. Just want to make sure I get those before I forget. Okay. And hold it all till it stays put. And we need a little double bow for the front here. So I'm going to get a good length and then double that to tie myself a bow. And then we'll put it at the top of the tree. I thought that was cute. Do your ends ever kind of twirl up? I kind of pull on the knot so that they're not so twisty, and then retug it. So if it's straight now, I'm going to hold my finger over the knot as I'm pulling it tighter or smaller so that it doesn't twist as much. And I always have it on the end here, so I waste less twine if I'm using it from the roll. All right, so I'm going to get my glue dot here. I'm going to put the lid on my glue and put this on the top of our tree. And then we can decorate with some, no twisting now. Cut that out. And then we can decorate with some of the sequins, which are somewhere close by under my nose right here. So look at how cute these ones are. So let's go ahead and stick these 3 little dots right on top of those. I think that'd be cute. Running out of red ones. Cute. Let's take this little one off and we're going to stick a bigger one there. Why not? The bears can be different sizes, right? Kind of looks like Mickey Mouse now. It's a hidden Mickey, if you like Disney. All right, so there is our first set of cards. Thank you to Beth for creating and designing these. And we did just the tiniest bit of different paper. Wow, that's really hard to notice much of a difference. So you could really get away with a lot of the different patterns in this paper pack. They're very similar. So that is our first card, and here is what we're doing for our second project, a cute little hot chocolate holder, and it also fits a few candy canes in there. So let's go ahead and get our pieces out for this one. Super cute, right? I love the little twine on the mittens. So I did some prep work again for to be a little bit shorter here. We have a piece of thick basic white. I'll take my card pieces. We're going to use those again. Okay. This piece is 4.5 by 8.5. 4.5 by 8.5. So you're going to have to cut. This is like a full sheet of paper would be like this. You're just cutting off a strip that's 4.5. And then we're also going to need a little strip here for the sentiment. And I think that in the directions here, she just had a little strip and she made it into a point. And I thought she was using this little die from that set. So I included it in my bundle for the craft along. And it seems to fit in there perfectly. Look at this. It looks just like that label. So that's what we're going to use for the 'Tis the Season. In fact, let's do that stamping right now. I already did the sweater. This is on Lost Lagoon in Boston White, and I just did the fussy cutting. And then we have a cute little hat and mittens. Those are done on Pretty Peacock. And I think I have another mitten here. Here it is. And I just have some Swiss Miss hot chocolate with that red on there. And then I'm using the same DSP, only I'm going to reverse it. So this is still that nice Pretty Peacock colors, but the little snowflake piece here that is on the main part is now going to be on the backing, and then our little frosty bits are going to be behind the sweater. So just the slightest change on that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and get out our trimmer so that we can do a little bit of scoring for our hot chocolate base. So we're going to score this with the 8.5-inch side at the top at 4 1/4 and 7 1/2. 4 1/4 and 7 1/2, which is actually just an inch on this side. That can't be right. I didn't even have to take the arm out. So it's 4 1/2, and I'm sorry, 4 1/4 and 7 1/2. 4 1/4, 7 1/2. It's 4 1/2 this way. All right, so this piece is actually going to go the opposite way. and it's going to be a little pocket like this. It's hard to see with white on there, isn't it? So that's how that pocket is going to go together. So let's go ahead and burnish that fold. We'll unfold it so we can really press it. And then we'll press this one right here. Okay, so the back piece that I'm going to do, this one's going to be 1 inch by 4 1/4. And that's going to go on the inside here. On the diagram, she has it like this. And so you have these little pieces like so. And so it was a little bit hard to understand where everything was going. It's because this piece is going to be at the top here. And this piece is the same size as this one, 4 1/4 by 1. However, I did cut this one down just a smidge to 3/4 instead of 1 inch because I wanted the border on that little piece too. So we're going to do that again. I just think it looks nice with a little border on it. So that's going to be that piece. You could save this piece if you want, or just make it the full piece and have it go all the way down to the bottom of that flap, and then it's kind of a whole continuous piece on the front here, because this one's going to go on the inside here like that. Okay, so here's where we're going to do all of our gluing then. So we have this piece here. This is the back of the inside. Right there. Boop. And then this little flappy bit. Right there. Good liquid glue moving around and getting just perfect. And then this piece on the front here. And again, this one is 4 1/4 wide by 3 inches tall. So once I get this piece in, I'm going to glue this whole flap down so that that stays down. Just gives it a nice decorative front there, right? So on the directions, she tells us to put some tear and tape on the sides. However, I was a little nervous it wasn't going to fit in there. This is quite snug and it's kind of gapping at the sides, but it's held together because of the baker's twine. So I think we're just going to leave the sides open and just have the twine kind of hold it together. I think it works just fine, and it's kind of like an easier little way. And the twine is actually glued on, so it's not going to come off when you untie it, or there's no untying. It's just stuck in there. Oh, I used red. I don't want to use red. I'm going to use Pretty Peacock. Whoops. I could use red. Let's just use red. There's not enough red on the front, and we're using this red and white baker's twine. We're going to use it. It's a happy accident. There. All's well. All right, so we have that in red then, and then we have all these cute little pieces. Nice and easy. Okay, so here is our twine, and so I'm just going to add, see where this label is? I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive right there with my seal so that we can start wrapping around there. So I'm going to start there. Again, we're going to do that cheaty bow method. And before I start wrapping this, I'm going to put in what I want in there. In fact, I actually shoved those things in afterwards, but this way it's going to have enough room for what we wanted to stick in there. Okay, so I'm going to make it snug with the pack in there. All right, so I'm going to wrap it, and I'm going to start kind of cross wrapping it a little bit. And so now we've got three crisscrossy lines, and I stopped it right on the front there where that tag is going to go, and so we'll just trim that off, and then we can add this little label with some dimensionals. Do we get to start a new sheet? Oh, not quite yet. So close. Ooh, that one's kind of yucky. I'm gonna start a new sheet. Let's do it. Whee! Who likes starting a new sheet of dimensionals? Why does it feel like I got like brand new craft supplies every time I start a new one? I'm like, oh, it's so nice. All right, so here is our little banner covering up our secret little adhesive spot for the for the ribbon. And now we can do another. I love double bows. You can do a single bow if you like single bows, but I love doubles. All right, so we're gonna go and tie a double. Ooh, I got a short tail there. We'll just tug it this way. It'll be a shorter bow. Add that with a glue dot. And just stick it somewhere on one of those lines that you already did, because then it looks like you tied it there, but we didn't. We did the cheaty method. So look, that's pretty snug in there, but it does have a little bit of a gap. If you wanted to, you could stick this in there and then seal the sides. That would probably work too. Yeah, I just didn't. All right, I'm gonna add this with dimensionals, my brand new dimensionals. My precious. I did the embossing for you already, although I love watching people do embossing. I had one of my friends was doing embossing at a class for the first time, and I fell out of my chair in excitement to go watch what her face was going to do when she saw the change. It scared the crap out of her. So I just thought it was so funny. I'm like, oh, I have to see her face and watch her do this for the first time. You can see I stamped it wrong on the other side. So this is what Versamark looks like on every color. It's kind of a tone on tone, and it does eventually dry. So that's just, I just didn't stamp it well enough. So if you're not sticking embossing powder on it, it's an awesome ink pad just for tone on tone. It's like one ink pad will be like every color, because it's whatever color you stick it on. I love that. All right, so here is our cute little sweater. And we got our little hat here. I'm gonna put that more in the middle. I'm gonna overlap that just a smidge here, kind of keep things connected. I'm gonna connect it to the label there. I feel like if you connect the things on your front, it just kind of makes the whole thing kind of flow a little bit. All right, so now we're gonna add these cute little guys to their little mitten string. And so let's just snip a little piece. We can always make it shorter if we need to. I'll just add a little bit of seal on the back near the cuffs so that it comes straight out of the cuff there. Let's see, is this too long? Oh, that's probably perfect. Oops, I got sticky fingers. Okay, so then we can kind of make sure that those stay there by adding more dimensionals. We can go as dimensional as we want. This is a gift package. This is not going in an envelope. So go up as high as you want. And I want to make a cute little curly Q on that one. Ah, cute. So we'll just take this off. Oops, I undid my curly. Let's see, yeah, I did like that. How did I do that? Flip in there. This way? This way. There we go. Yeah. Cute, cute, cute. All right, and I do have some these are old candy canes. That's why I didn't include any in your package, but you can stick these in there and they should shove in. Since this is kind of, it's powder and you can kind of mold it to how you want to, you can just kind of shove those in there and then tie another little bow around there. I did another double bow, so I'm going to put course I did a double bow, right? I'm gonna cut it in half already though. Kind of slip it behind there and tie that one. And you can stick this with, if you're doing a craft fair, this would be so cute for a craft fair, right? Or little gifts at Christmas time. I would probably stick this onto the candy canes with a glue dot so it doesn't move around as you are moving stuff around. Why do I always tie? Bows always look better when I tie them. I think they're going to go one way and then I shift it to be completely upside down and then it looks better that way. That's so weird. Okay, so there is our second project. So cute, Beth. All right, so there is project number 8, I think. Is that right? Wow, we are rocking along. So here is what we did today. Thank you again for watching. I'll go ahead and put my face back in here. Thank you again for watching. And of course, if you'd like to get your hands on the tutorial for this, there's instructions in the description of the video. I appreciate all of you. Make sure that you check out the online store today, whether you're a demonstrator or whether you're on my team or you're just a shopper. For free shipping today is always a great deal. So check that out. And if you want the best deal, you can get the starter kit and join my team and be my friend. For $35, you get to pick out $125 worth of stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. We've had so many people join our team just this month. So we've almost doubled our team. So thank you again for watching. And if you want to join my team, I can put a little banner up here so you can do that. I would love for you to do that. Join.orderwithdeb.com. You can also do ordering at orderwithdeb.com. And that's about it at the moment. All right, have a great day. I will see you later tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll be able to pre-record our video for tomorrow or not. We're running a little short, so I might have to do that one later in the day on Friday. So may or may not be at 2 p.m. Eastern on Friday, but we'll get it out to you. All right, have a great day, guys. Bye.